We'll start today sitting. I'm going to sit up on my blocks. We're going to focus today on opening our hips. So you may have heard me say this before. The reason I sit up on the blocks, sitting on the forward edge, I use two blocks next to each other. A lot of times people use one block. And when I first heard someone say to use two, I thought it was silly, but I did it anyway, and it does make a difference. So by sitting on the forward edge of a cushion or a block, pelvis tilts forward, the front of the hips open, and allows the lower spine to settle downward. So sit or kneel in any way that's comfortable for you. It doesn't have to look like this. If you want to close your eyes, just feel into whatever grounding contact you've got. What's touching the ground or your props? Where do you feel that supportive contact beneath you? Thinking about the length of your spine, helping you to sit tall without being stiff or being rigid. I think she's trying to get her audio on her phone. Here we go. And notice your breathing to get started, settling in further, letting your breath slow down and get deeper. Taking in the movements of your breath and the way those movements feel. And taking in whatever else is going on in your body. Scan your body, notice whatever sensations are present. Especially noting anything that's out of whack, any stiffness or soreness that's going on. Making note of anything you want to keep in mind during practice to take care of yourself. Remembering that you're always welcome to skip or modify whatever you need to, whatever you want to. I always say this at the start of practice. I'll encourage you, if you take a class and the teacher doesn't say that, do it anyway. It's your practice on your mat. And whenever you find that your attention has gone elsewhere, gently redirect yourself. Come back to noticing what's going on in your body and noticing your breath, finding the practice that's best for you by taking care of yourself, skipping or modifying as needed. And perhaps you're in the practice of setting a personal intention as well. You can do that now, layer that on. And with our intentions shared and individual in place, let's take 3 deep cleansing breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth with a sigh. If your eyes are still closed, you can open them. Let's start at the bottom today. Now lift a leg, whichever one's in front will do. Grab your toes, get your fingers in between your toes. Let your foot be limp, let your arms do the work. Roll that foot in gentle, slow circles. Start to open the ankle up. Change direction. Release your toes. Use both arms to cradle your leg, whatever grip works for you. It doesn't have to look just like this. Let the weight of your leg hang supported by your arms. And make circles with your leg, rocking your femur and your hip socket. The hips are the biggest joint in the human skeleton. Change direction. And our hips are a place where we can store a lot of excess tension. We're all pretty aware and conscious of excess tension we carry in the shoulders and the neck. In general, we're less aware of what goes on in the hips. Of course, those of us that practice yoga are more aware than those who don't, I think, of the hips. Let this leg down and lift the other one. Grab the toes. Start those slow, gentle circles for this ankle. So things get stuck. Energetic things get stuck in the body, in the shoulders and in the hips. And we'll work to clear some of that stuff. Change direction. As we work on hip opening exercises, we're like wringing that stuff out. Some say we store issues in our tissues. There are issues in our tissues. You think of like a junk drawer or a closet or spare room that gets too full of stuff, and see what we can clear out today. Release your toes and cradle your leg. Make circles with that whole leg. And change direction. Now let your leg down. Rest your hands on your knees or your thighs. Inhale to bring your heart forward. Let your head tip back. Exhale, bring your heart back and let your head tip forward. And follow the pace of your own breath a few more times. Maybe the movements grow bigger, the breaths grow longer. And this is a heart-led movement, but it also brings the whole spine in on the action. And there is action here in the hips. And let's start a circular movement. So as you come forward, bring your heart to one side. As you go back, bring your heart to the other side. So still lead with the heart and try to keep both of those bones in your seat grounded. Try not to rock too much. And change direction. When you finish the next circle, sit up tall again. Reach your hands to the sides, rest your fingertips on the floor. Inhale, reach your left arm up alongside your ear. Exhale, reach to your right. Feel for length from your outer left hip to your left fingertips. And here too, try to keep the left cheek on the ground or whatever you're sitting on. Inhale, come upright. As you exhale, come into a twist. Right, left hand behind you, right hand to left leg. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, twist some more. So these bones in the seat, yoga teachers will call them sitting bones or sits bones, I've heard said, or bones in your seat, because they're called in English ischial tuberosities, which is quite a mouthful. In Spanish, there's a single word that's a little easier to say. They call them isquiones. Let yourself unwind, come back to center. Inhaling, raise your right arm up alongside your ear. Exhale, reach to your left. Try not to lift that right stone. Inhale, come upright. Exhale, come into that seated twist. Inhale, find length. Exhale, find how much twist feels good for this side. Let yourself unwind and come back to center. Let your chin come down towards your chest. Some attention for the neck here. Roll your ears slowly towards your shoulder. Now let your head tip back. Other ear to the other shoulder. Slow, gentle circles. And just because we're focusing on hips today doesn't mean that there isn't tension in the neck and shoulders, right? Because there's always some. Every class to me is a full body practice, even though we may be focusing on certain areas more. When you finish the next circle, change direction. Take a few going the other way. When you finish the next circle, lift your chin. Now let's come up onto our hands and knees. You might tip forward to get there. You might tip to one side, tip to one hip, and swing the legs around. Bring your hips above your knees and your shoulders above your wrists. Reach back and press into the ball of your right foot. With your next inhale, reach your left arm forward. If you want, on the next inhale, pick your right foot up and reach straight back. Nice opening in the front of the hip. If you want, you could bend your leg. You can reach back. See about taking hold, kicking against your hand, lifting your knee, lifting your chin. So this is nice for the shoulder and for the quads, but also for the frontal and outer hip. Release, come down. Inhale, bring your heart forward, let your head and tailbone go up. Exhale, bring your heart up, let your head and tailbone come down. Take a couple more breaths like that. And come back to table. Reach back, press into the ball of your left foot for a couple breaths. With your next inhale, reach your right arm forward. If you want, on an inhale, pick your left foot up and reach straight back. And if you want to go further, bend that leg, reach back, see about that bind. Release and lower down and take those cow and cat breaths again. And come back to table. And I'm going to grab my blocks here. The next thing we're going to do, most people use blocks for this, but it's up to you whether you do or not. I'm going to put the blocks on the middle setting here, middle height. Step the right foot up between your hands. You're in a low lunge. You can scoot the left knee back. Make it a longer stance. You can already feel some more action in the hips there. And then what we're going to do is sliding the blocks with us or walking the blocks back. You're going to drift back, sit back towards the left heel, staying long in the spine. So depending on where you're at, you may or may not need blocks. Rock up onto the right heel. So long right leg, long spine, and maybe you have your blocks and maybe your hands are on the mat. Come forward. And we're just going to explore rocking back and forth. So as you do it a few more times, maybe you find, okay, I want to scoot my left knee back more, or maybe you want to scoot it forward some. Sit back, rock onto the heel, come forward, plant the foot. And you can go as far forward as you want to, feeling into the hip, feeling into the right hamstrings as you come forward. So here, right hamstrings and left quads, front of left hip. Here, lost my train of thought. I get distracted myself. Forward, there was something I was going to say about the back end of the movement. So the forward part of the movement feels more about the muscles. The back part of the movement feels more about the joint. But in reality, each posture benefits those big leg muscles and the hip joints themselves. On the next forward movement, pause there, and we'll just switch legs. So bring your right knee to the mat and your left foot forward. And find how long a stance you want here. That's what my body is asking for, a longer stance. My right knee to go back here. So that feels good in my right quad, my left hamstring. And as you're ready, at your pace, you sit back, glide forward, and pause as long as you want at the back part of the movement or the forward part of the movement. On the back part, you might get a lot of sensation in your calf too. And maybe as far as the movement of the hips with repetition, you'll find a deeper movement, a greater range of motion, a deeper stretch, maybe scoot the knee back. And next time we come forward, we'll pause with that rocking back and forth, scoot that right knee forward a bit, and we're going to stand to a forward fold. Bring the right foot up to meet the left. You can keep the blocks if you want for support, or set them aside and let your hands hang in the air or drag on the ground. Sway side to side, bend one leg, then the other. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, come down. Inhale all the way up, hands overhead. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale down. Plant your hands and step back to plank. Exhale, lower halfway or all the way down. Inhale to bring your heart forward. Drop your knees if you like. Cobra or up dog. Listen to your low back. Exhale, back and up to downward dog. Pedal your feet up and down. Let your heels get closer to the ground. This is the day for the class for equipment issues today. Don't mind me losing my headphones. Had a whole class earlier with not a single hardware issue. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, step forward. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, come down. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale down. Step back to plank. And this time, on an exhale, slowly lower all the way to the ground. We're going to explore a little series down on the ground here. Bring your arms to the side, like cactus arms. So elbows out at shoulder level and hands above elbows. So your arms are at about right angles. And then draw your right knee up towards your right elbow. And you can't see your leg, but picture it at a right angle. Aim for that. It's okay. Don't try to see it. So we're really getting deeper into the front of the hip here. Now you might stay there. Maybe that's plenty to do. We have options to go further. You could press into your hands and bring your arms in towards the midline. So bring your elbows under your shoulders if you want to come to Sphinx arms. Now, elbows under shoulders, hands still directly out in front of the elbows. So by lifting the head and torso, and it doesn't have to be this high, whatever height works for you, that action brings the hip further open. Now, if we want to go further here, you can pivot your left arm. Bring your left hand over next to your right elbow. And if you want, you can bend your left leg. You can reach back with your right hand, and maybe you lower your torso to do so. And maybe you take a bind, like we did when we're on our hands and knees. Although this one is harder to do. And it's a deeper stretch when you do get it. And taking the bind brings some action into the left hip and as well, of course. If you're in the bind, come out slowly, lower that left leg, plant that right elbow and right hand again. You're just rewinding everything, taking our time. Pivot the left hand back out. And just start to walk your hands and elbows away from each other. Come down onto your chin or on one cheek if it doesn't feel good to rest on your chin. Slowly draw that right knee back in, right leg next to the left leg, and just have a little pause. And I think to do the other side, I'm going to reposition myself for the sake of camera. Now it's going to look like I'm on the right because we're facing opposite ways. So now you're going to draw your left knee up towards your elbow. Stay there, or if you like, start to walk your hands and elbows in towards center. Find those Sphinx arms, elbows under shoulders, hands forward of the elbows. If you want to go further, you could pivot your right arm, bring your right hand by your left elbow. You could bend your right leg. You can see about reaching back with your left hand for that right foot. Releasing any binds, let the foot down, bring that left arm forward. Pivot the right hand forward. Walk your hands and elbows back out to cactus arms. Rest on your chin or rest on one cheek. Slowly draw the left leg back to center line. Take a few noticing breaths. Scan your body. Bring your hands in under your shoulders. Press up to table. Onto your hands and knees. Bring your big toes together. Send your knees further apart if you like, maybe to the edges of your mat. Sit back towards your heels. The child's pose. Walk your hands forward. Let your head down. And maybe after that crawling lizard exploration is what we call that previous series. Maybe your child's pose is a little lower than usual. Maybe your seat's a little lower. Maybe your hips open more. Maybe your knees go wider than your mat. See what your body wants for your child's pose. Vary it to suit yourself. Notice how your breath feels here. Nice deep inhales and feel as your diaphragm drops down. The action in the hips that the breath brings. Inhale, slowly come forward, back up through table. We're going to make our way to a seat. Cross your ankles, walk your hands in towards your knees, and maybe you roll over your ankles, or if that seems crazy, tip onto one hip and swing your legs around. Not everybody likes to roll over their ankles like I just did. Extend your legs forward and flex your feet back. Inhale, reach up overhead. Exhale, fold down over your legs. If your knees want to bend, let them bend. On the inhale, think of the crown of your head reaching forward. On the exhale, think of lowering down some more. We'll spend maybe 10 more breaths here and see how much the fold might deepen. Inhaling, walk your hands up the front of your legs, using your arms to help you sit up. Use your arms to help your legs. Nudge your legs apart. Bend your left leg, bring your left foot over by your right thigh or right knee. Pivot your torso, aim your sternum at your right foot and flex that right foot back towards you. Inhale to reach up overhead. Exhale to fold down over that leg. Reach your right arm to the side and turn your head to the right. Turn your thumb down, reach the back of your hand towards your left hip and peel your right shoulder back. Extend your arm and bring your right hand back over by your left hand. Reach your left arm to the side and turn your head to the left. Turn your thumb down, reach the back of your hand towards your right hip Feel your left shoulder back. Extend your arm, turn your thumb up. Reach that arm up alongside your ear, reach your left hand overhead towards your right hand. Reach your arm up and out to the side again. Bring it across. Left hand rejoins the right hand. Walk your hands up your leg. Still using your arms to help your legs. Extend this one. Bend the other one. Bring the foot across. Pivot your torso. Flex your left foot. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold down. Reach your left arm to the side. Turn your head to the left. Turn your thumb down. Reach the back of your hand towards your right hip. Feel your left shoulder back. Extend your arm and bring your left hand back by your right hand. Reach your right arm to the side. Turn your head to the right. Turn your thumb down. Reach the back of your hand towards your left hip and feel your right shoulder back. Extend your arm. Turn your thumb up again. Reach your arm up alongside your ear. Right hand coming overhead towards the left hand. Reach your arm up and out again and bring it all the way across and walk your hands up your leg. Extend this leg, nudge your legs towards each other. Bring the soles of your feet together with a big space between your pelvis and heels. And you're going to grab your mat, reach under your ankles or over your ankles and walk your hands forward on the mat. Let your neck disengage and your head hang down. Slowly bring your hands back, press yourself upright. Now bring your heels in as close as you can. Interlace your fingers, grab your toes in your hand. Wriggle on your seat, bring those bones closer to the ground. Tilt your pelvis forward. Inhale, lengthen up through the crown of your head. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward with your spine long at first. When that long spine doesn't want to lower anymore, let your head lower and breathe into your. Inhale, slowly sit up. Use your arms to help your legs lift your knees towards each other. And with your feet planted, scoot towards your heels, lower onto your back. I'm going to turn myself around here. Come down onto your back with your heels as close to your butt as they'll go. And cross your left ankle above your right knee. Bring your hands to your right thigh. Draw your right knee towards you. Now, it's not going to move a lot. If your right foot doesn't lift off the ground, you might press into the ball of your foot and just raise your right heel, allowing you to move that leg and that hip a bit more. You don't want to lift your sacrum off the ground. Stay grounded there in the back of your body. Bring your left hand to the inside of your left knee. Nudge your left knee away from you. Let your arms relax. Let your right foot down. Now let your left foot down and cross your right ankle above your left knee. Bring your hands to your left thigh. Start to draw that left knee in. Any little amount it will go. Not a lot of movement for the knee. This is about what we're doing in the hips. Move your right hand to the inside of your right knee and nudge your right knee out. And let your arms relax. Let your left foot down. Uncross your legs. Draw your knees towards your chest. Grab your strap and run it under your feet, holding one end in each hand. Without lifting your sacrum or shoulder blades or head off the ground, reach your feet up so your legs and strap and arms are long. Point your toes up at the sky. Point your toes down towards your face. And let your feet relax. Slide your feet apart. And slide your feet back together. Take your left foot out of the strap. Press your left heel and left calf to the floor. Hold the strap in your left hand. Reach your right arm to the side. Without lifting your shoulder blades, bring your leg over to the left and turn your head to the right. Now we'll spend a couple of minutes here as our focus today is on hips, exploring this posture a bit longer sometimes brings some interesting results. It's a great stretch even for a few breaths. It's different when you spend a minute. It's even more different when you spend a couple minutes. You can adjust as needed as things continue to open. Maybe you change your grip on the strap or the position of your arm. If you adjust the tension on your strap. Slowly bring everything back up to center line. Take the strap in your right hand. Press your left hand down on the front of your left hip and let your limbs fall to the right. Try to keep your left cheek on the ground. Try not to let your pelvis roll to the right. And note here too, I'm reminded to say this note as my leg touches down on the ground. Even if your leg goes that far, touches down on the ground, you don't have to stop there. You can keep a gentle guiding tension on the strap, keep the arm engaged a bit, and see what more opening you might find. What does that hip want? Where does that leg want to be? You could let it disengage if that's what feels right for you. You could keep exploring, maybe finding even more room, even more openness here. Nice and gently come back to center. Lift your left leg, step your left foot inside your strap. Take your right foot out, press your right leg down. Reach your left arm to the side. Draw your leg to the right and turn your head to the left. Bring everything back up to center. Take the strap in your left hand. Press down the front of your right hip. And let your limbs fall open to the left. Very gently come back to center. Raise your right leg. Draw your knees towards your chest. Check your strap aside. Hug your knees and rock and roll on your back to massage it against the ground. Reach your feet towards the sky. Reach your hands up to grab your legs or your feet and play with bending and straightening your arms and legs in happy baby pose. Or if you'd prefer a different inversion, explore whatever that might be. Invert as long as you like. When you feel complete, make your way to your final resting pose. And maybe you opt for the traditional Shavasana, corpse pose with your legs extended, your feet splayed open, and your hands resting at your sides. But you don't have to. You can conclude your practice in any posture where you can be comfortably still for some quiet breathing time as you integrate the benefits of your practice, reflecting maybe simply on your breath or on the intention you set for yourself when we began today, or just allow your mind to drift. You have to give yourself some deeper breaths. Let yourself move slowly, bit by bit. Letting those movements grow gradually bigger. Moving mindfully and taking your time. When you're ready, you can gently sit up. And bring your hands up by your heart. Thank you for coming together and sharing this practice today. The light within me sees and honors that invite within each of you. Namaste. Again, this is Leo Bray on behalf of Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center in Palm Springs, coming to you from the Terrace in Cozumel. Visit us online at Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center on Facebook or urbanyoga.org. Check out the schedule, stop by the tip jar. Have a wonderful day. See you next time.